Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a video on Rules of Survival. Now, this is not an ad, I am not sponsored by the developers, I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. This is a game that I actually picked up on my own accord. I saw a lot of my followers on Twitter playing it and I thought, do you know what, I kind of want to give it a go. I had a bit of a tilt in Vainglory yesterday, I didn't play very well, so I thought, well, I need another game to start playing on my iPad when I'm kind of getting frustrated with Vainglory. Because obviously, you know, if you watch my video on tilt, the best way to deal with tilt is take a break and play a different game completely, especially a different genre. It kind of really helps you relax and play a different style of game. So I've got a lot of experience with Battle Royale games like PlayerUnknown's Battleground. I've also got a lot of experience with the Fortnite Battle Royale as well. So there's kind of like a lot of thought processes that go into that you can use in these kind of Battle Royale games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a game. I'm going to go through my thought process. We'll see how well we do. And kind of just work from there. Now, if you can hear piano in the background of this video, I've got a lot of piano practice going on at my house right now, so don't worry, that's just how it is. It can be a small backing track, I guess, to the video. Now, let's have a look at the settings first, because settings is always a good thing to go on. I like to use advanced mode. I keep everything on. I actually turned on double tap to turn around on the joystick. Aim assist is on right now. Now, I think eventually, once I get better, and once you guys get better, that should come off, because it really isn't very good to use aim assist, especially when they are in a car, because the gun automatically defaults to shooting the car, which actually allows people who use cars at this level to have an element of protection, because especially if you're just spamming shoot at the car, yeah, you're going to deal damage to the car, but that allows them to use the car as a shield for a moment, get out and reposition and start shooting you. So yeah, you have to be careful of using aim assist. It can be a detriment as well as a help, but I'm going to keep it on for the moment. I also slightly up the sensitivity from the default settings, but everything else apart from that stays as it is. Now, the first thing that I do when I come into these kind of games is look obviously at the direction that we're traveling in. We're coming in from a slight like north direction, which means we're basically heading south. Now, there are lots of great places to drop here. I really actually do like dropping on the training island, but obviously it can be difficult to get off the training island if the circle is all the way down here. What I'm going to do is, I think this time I'm going to jump directly to just north of the defense fort. Generally, when I'm approaching these kind of games, you'll find that the safest spots are these kind of small little outcrops of housings, but they often won't have the best loot. If you jump straight for the city, it's kind of a free-for-all as to who can pick up the guns quickest and making sure you don't get shot. I like to go a little bit out the way, so I always like to be a little bit more out the way when I jump on these kind of things. You kind of push forwards and just push forwards as hard as possible, head towards your marker, make sure you're always lining up that little arrow with the marker. I also try and look up, because in my head that helps. Now, often when you're a little bit further away, it's good to pull your parachute early. And you can see that my destination is there on my map. I'm going to use my parachute early here, and that'll give me more hang time when heading to where I want to go. And obviously, a good way to kind of gain distance without going down is kind of just swing back and forth, and you get a little boost when you stop. So it's not a bad way of doing it. If you just do forwards, you kind of just head downwards and forwards. I like to kind of stop in there and get a small little boost. So you can see I am actually already in the zone here, so this is going to be great for me. What I can do is now apply two different tactics to the zone. So you can see the zone is in this center of the map. If I went for the training camp, I wouldn't have had long to loot, and I've had to move down very quickly. So good thing that I didn't go for there. It can be quite dangerous, but I do like the training camp in general. It's got some good loot there. So we're going to head to this little base here. Now, never been here before, but often you'll find that industrial areas, especially in things like PUBG, have got a decent amount of loot. You'll also find in this game it's really not that hard to find a gun, so it doesn't really matter where you drop. You're probably going to find a gun of some shape or form. I've got to kind of crouch to get through here. So it doesn't really matter. I'm going to pick up some band-aids. That's always good. Let's see what we got here. Compressor. Rifle compressor is good. I like having a rifle compressor. And you see here, I've already picked up an assault rifle, so that's good. Assault rifle on the board. I like the M4. There's loads more up here. I like the AKM as well. So I actually don't really like SMGs, so I'm just going to avoid picking up SMGs at the moment. I don't think I really need them. Level 1 helmet on the ground there. Anything else up here that we need to be worried about? Nope. Let's just go ahead back down again then. AKM. The difference between the AKM and the let me just check the M4 is M4 can have all the attachments and AKM can't, but AKM has generally got a higher damage. I like to use AKM as like a semi-sniper, and honestly the M4 is an okay weapon and just becomes very good when you get all the attachments. So you really want to be searching for the attachments if you've got an M4. Just going to check these. Often these crates have got things in them, but these ones don't seem to. Also, you can jump on top of the crates, and that's often where some of the loot is. If I can jump properly, that would be great. Yeah, you can see up here there's a bit of loot. Now, at this point in time, obviously, you do need to start to be concerned with making sure you're scouting yourself, especially as you're just on the inside of the circle. Remember, if you remember where the plane came from, and I'll just point it out on the map in a minute, the plane came from down here. So people are going to be jumping to Bitter Lake, logging camps, Rust Bay. They are going to be heading to here because they have to. That's kind of the point in the game. So I have to be very careful that right now I'm in kind of a vulnerable position, and that position is the fact that I am basically right in the circle. I'm one of the major looting areas right in the circle. So the likelihood is that people are going to start to come towards me pretty quickly. So I want to try and loot as quickly as possible and move on, because I don't want to get caught by people running at me. I don't want to get caught by people running at me and then I get caught off guard, you see. So I'll try and loot on top of these crates as much as possible. Again, these crates are pretty good for loot. You know, these industrial areas generally tend to be quite loot heavy. And you can see I've already found a decent amount of stuff. Obviously, I would have loved level 2 stuff or more, but at the moment, you know, coming out with 2 of my favourite assault rifles is a really good thing. I can see I've also got a lot more rifle ammo to work with here. That'll be enough rifle ammo for pretty much the entire round now, just to make sure I don't die. And the rest of what I'll be doing here will just be looking for anything to help essentially keep me safer. SG choke, don't really care about that. Let's have a look over here. This building looks pretty fancy. Now, obviously, there is several different... There's nothing in here, okay. Several different sort of ways to sort of go about looting, and one of the best ways is often trying to go for the crate. The crate is obviously going to be highly contested, so I like to make sure either if I'm really near the crate, I'll go for it. If I'm far away from the crate but want to go for it, I want to take a slow approach towards the crate, try and scout out the area, and often I want to try and catch people going for the crate themselves. So you can see, I can see a crate over there now, so you always want to keep an eye out. That's a little bit too far for me to try and contest right now. I could jump in that car and go, but that's really going to put my game plan off. I'm already moderately well equipped. I'm just looking for attachments for my M4 right now and some slight upgrades. You might think that I'd go for the sniper rifle, but funnily enough, I don't really like sniper rifles on this game. You need a scope to make them work, for one. And when you use a shot with them, they actually come out of the scope. So unless you're headshotting someone, which obviously should really be your aim in all cases, unless you're headshotting someone, I don't really think snipers are that great. I actually just prefer using the AKM because you stay scoped when you shoot with single shot in the AKM. You just stay scoped, and that's just better. Staying scoped, it just gives you more time to readjust your shot. With the single shot sniper rifles, you really have to make that first shot count. And often when they've got a decent amount of body armor, especially if they've got like level 3 and stuff, it can be very difficult to actually get a one-shot kill with the sniper. Often you can get a one-shot kill with the sniper if you get a headshot, but at this level it can be quite difficult. And often, because of auto-aim, people can catch you out really quickly. So I just like to keep to assault rifles. I think assault rifles are just the easy ways to win games at this level. So you can see 48 left, and I've not really came across anyone right now. I'm always monitoring my top directional bar, because that will give you indication as to where sounds are coming from and if sounds are near you at all. So obviously, I'm always looking for the wheel icon, that's going to be a vehicle near me, or I'm going to be looking for the bullet icon, and the bullet icon is obviously this shooting near me, and the little footsteps icon is someone's very close. That means you can hear the walking. If you like to go up close and personal, shotguns are always a really good thing, especially very early on. MGXQD mag. I don't know what that is, but I think that's for a machine gun. Obviously, shotguns are really great for early on, and especially in cities when you're trying to contest for loot. If you see a shotgun, best thing you can do is literally just grab it. Just grab the shotgun, because it's just a very solid weapon to sort of contest with. Right, I've actually picked up a decent amount of stuff here. I've got a lot of rifle ammo. I don't really need any more rifle ammos. Oh, go on then. Go on then, since you're giving me so much here. And this is what I mean about this game. Even if you dive to sort of the slightly... even if you dive to the slightly kind of dubious areas in terms of the small little towns, you're still going to find awesome loot in the small buildings. So it really doesn't matter trying to drop for the big areas, because I'm just going to reload this. It's always good to have both of your guns reloaded just so you can switch between them. It's always quicker to switch between your guns than it is to just straight up reload. Grenade, I've got a triangle grip now. That's really good. Triangle grip will give me slightly better stability on my M4. Now I'm just looking for a stock. Have I got level 2 body armor already? No, I don't. I don't have level 2 body armor already. So that's good. I've got level 2 body armor, level 2 helmet, level 2 backpack. So operating on all level 2s right now, which is awesome. As you can see, they are literally just throwing assault rifles at me right now. Another 2x scope. I've got a lot of 2x scopes. That's a level 2 helmet. I've already got a level 2 helmet. Let's take another band-aid thing. Can't hear anything right now. Haven't checked over there. Should probably check over there. So I'm just going to crouch here and have a look at the map. So like, I'm kind of in the center of the circle right now. So there's 2 ways to play the circle, like I said. You play the outside, and you're always trying to move in with just one direction of focus. Obviously, there's always the chance that people are going to come at you from behind because they're running through the sort of the gas area, I guess you could call it. The other way is going straight to the center of the circle. You have to cover more areas, but you don't have to you don't really get surprised and caught off guard with the circle, because you're already kind of in the center of the circle, and you're not likely to have to move very far. Now, we're actually at 41 left at this point in time, so I'm right in the center. I'm kind of vulnerable right now because I haven't seen anybody. I also don't have my sound on because I'm using my sound to monitor my audio for the video. But oh, there we go. There is someone right there. And I'm going to try and see. I can't actually shoot him. It's really annoying. You can just kind of shoot the vehicle. So I'm actually just going to try and kill his vehicle. Okay, I can't. That was kind of annoying. But we're going to follow him. The vehicle's still seeing on my screen there. Apparently vehicles just seem to give you an ultimate amount of protection, and you can see here I kind of had my crosshairs straight lined up with his head, and he still wasn't dying. So I'm going to try and follow him down. I've done a lot of damage to his vehicle, but apparently no damage to him. But hey, we'll try and find him. He's on the very edge of the circle right now. We do have to be careful about that, because there'll be a lot of people coming from that direction. There's still the vehicle. I can still hear it. It's just over here. It should be pretty low. I can probably try him. There we go. There we go. So when you aim, you can aim and run at the same time, but it's difficult to aim and shoot. What I like to do is use my index finger on my left hand for running. I got 2 fingers on my right hand. One of them I try and use for aiming the scope. The other I try and use for shooting. If I really want to be precise, I use my left finger for the shooting. Level 3 body armor, nice. M4 stock, nice. Okay, we've got a fully stocked out M4 now. That's awesome. I use my right finger to get into zoom and then aim, and then I use my left finger for the shooting. So that was really good. Now we've got level 3 body armor. We're in a really good position. So what I've ended up doing now is I'm actually on the best side of the circle. So I'm just gonna quickly crouch down here and explain to you guys what I mean. Oh god, wait a second, I'll explain it in a second, because there's another vehicle really near me. It's gone just past me, I don't know what's happening here. Let's see if we can... See, the vehicles offer so much protection. Like, you can't actually shoot someone in the vehicle, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, we'll carry on. We'll try and chase him down again. So what I'm literally just gonna pray. What's a really good way if you want to try and keep yourself safe is just kind of get into long grass and prone, because it's quite difficult to really do anything. So let's just explain what I mean. Our plane came in from that way. If you follow the direction of my little arrows, our plane came in from that way. So everybody is really going to have dropped around this area. They'll be heading into this area of the circle. The best area of the circle, if you want to avoid people, would be down here, because it's the furthest away from the plane, and also the least likely area where people have travelled to. So if we want to be really safe, and I think I will, I'm going to head to this area of the circle and move in. Most people are going to be concentrated around this area of the circle, heading towards the centre. So the best thing for me to do now is head towards the southeast and skirt the circle to the south, because it's the area that was furthest away from the plane. It's the least populated area, and I'm less likely to be caught off guard. Remember, one of the best ways to win in this game is kind of just positioning. Having good positioning means you can catch people off guard and just kind of catch them while they're scoping out. Like I was doing there, scoping out the map or whatever. Some people think they're safe. A lot of this game really does come down to just catching the other person off guard. And often, if you're in a highly populated area, like that north side of the circle now, that is going to be an area that is going to be very easy to catch people off guard. At this point in time, I'm not likely to want to continue looting much. I don't really need much more. I've got huge amounts of ammo. I've got a fully stocked M4. That is a... I would love a 4x scope, but realistically, as the game goes on, scopes become less and less important because things become a bit more close quarters. So the 2x scope for me is probably fine at this point. The circle's going to close very quickly now. The next circle is going to be pretty small. A lot of times you get kills in this game without even having to use your scope. So I'm going to head over here and skirt in the circle to the south side, like I said. It's just statistically the best way for me to avoid the majority of people. I do always have to be careful though, because again, I've got this idea, it means there's probably someone else that's going to have this idea. It's less likely to meet people, but doesn't mean you're going to not meet anybody entirely. So something that I should really have been doing more is using the little I button to always check behind me as I'm running. Or if you've seen someone in a location and you want to keep an eye on them while you're running around them, you use the I location just to do that. I think that might even be a crate out at sea there. I'm going to have a look, but if it is, I'm obviously not going to do anything. It looks like that is a crate out at sea. Crates can drop out at sea, it's kind of random. So something that I've got here, I've got 1 minute 40 to work with. I'm on this south side of the circle. I am very close to the circle here. There is a little town behind me. If anybody had pulled the same tactic, and if I were them, I would have come to this little town or towns like it, hid up in one of the houses, and then waited for the very last moment to move out towards the circle. So something that I should always be aware of at this point in time is the fact that people could literally be in these houses on the coastline, because the coastline's a really good place to hold up. You're very unlikely to get attacked from the sea, so you've always only got one area to worry about. So they could have been holding up in these small little houses on the coastline and then moving in towards the circle just like I am now. So if you look where I am, we're basically on the side of the circle that's going to be least populated. So we're really almost guaranteeing ourselves at this point a top 10 spot. And a good way to climb is just guarantee yourself a good spot or get lots of kills. Because we haven't really met anybody right now, we're not really on the lots of kills barrier. But we're going to be looking for a top 10 spot for sure. Now, I'm going to keep my M4 in auto because I'm fully stocked. And I just want to make sure that even if I get into a close quarters battle, I'm going to be prepared to take someone on. I don't need to sort of rush into the circle. I've got 30 seconds till the gas even starts to close in, and then at that point I've still got a little bit of time to work with. I can't hear any shots or any footsteps on my map, so I'm pretty safe to just kind of slowly work my way towards the circle. Again, when you get to this stage in the game, you should really be looking at the buildings and making sure that you can't see anyone floating around the buildings, because you know, little buildings are really good ways, and little towns like these, people hold up them really nicely. Like they just sit in the building, wait until they absolutely have to move. So approaching buildings, you're always going to be at a disadvantage. They have the height advantage of the windows. They have the scope advantage of seeing you in a sort of an open plane, whereas you actually kind of have to spot them in the window. So you always should be careful of towns and small buildings as you're running away. And so always try and treat them with a large degree of caution. So you can see here, again, I'm playing the circle edge tactic. I'm just about to head into the safe zone. I'm not quite there yet. When I get up towards the little white marker, it'll tell me. That little orange, sorry, the little yellow running man tells you when you've hit that white marker at the top. That kind of shows you that you're in the circle. So there's two towns very close to me. I'm going to use this ridge to my advantage. Now, one of the things that you should always do, especially when you're in the circle and you've got a height advantage, is if you're not too worried, this is what I do. I like to hold up just inside the circle, and I'm waiting for people to run at the circle from this direction, because people will desperately try to run towards the circle last minute. If you get there first and you have a height advantage, you can be looking to take people out as they run towards the circle. Again, like I said, I chose the least populated side of the circle just for the advantageous region. I kind of don't want to run into too many people at this stage in the game. I kind of want to be catching people off guard. So I'm not expecting, especially with only 12 left, I'm not really expecting to see anybody coming from this side of the circle. And with the gas closing in, especially with how much damage it's doing now, I'm probably pretty safe to start moving on. Right. We are going to casually start moving very closely. Now, this is where I have to be super careful, because you can see I'm surrounded by buildings. People have probably got to the center of the circle and started holding up these buildings. This is where people kind of take one-on-one fights, and it's very difficult to get kills at this stage in the game. So you do have to be really careful about how you approach. I'm covered by the small hill behind me here. So the only building set that I have to worry about is over here. A good way to anticipate whether people have looted or even been in buildings is by looking at the doors. If the doors are open, it means that someone's been in the building. If the doors aren't open, it's usually that someone hasn't. Now, we're going to be very careful as we approach here because, as you can see now, I'm going to have to move towards the circle. I've got 2 minutes to work with. The doors aren't open. Now, you can close the doors, obviously, to feign that the building hasn't been looted. What I like to do is often close doors after I enter a building because it makes it less obvious. And you can see here I'm going to slowly move around. It doesn't even look like anybody's looted this building. So I'm just going to very slowly. See, what you can do is just close the door and it makes it look like it hasn't been looted. But most people, especially in the early game, if people have head to a building in the early game, they kind of just spam open door and don't bother closing. What's something that I do like to do when I'm looting often, I didn't do it this game, but I really should have done, is definitely close doors. Like, you definitely want to be closing doors because it just means that people can walk into the house thinking that there's loot in there, they waste time, and that's always good for you. So again, I'm still on the south side of the circle, so we aren't expecting to meet too much resistance here. I'm probably pretty happy to just sit in this little thing. What I'm going to do is, especially because I'm kind of out in the open right now, is I'm just going to prone. Proning's a really good way with the long grass to make sure that you aren't getting spotted easily. People often will just run straight past you when you're prone, so just proning and making sure that you're kind of keeping all of your angles covered. And you can see I can always look around using the eye, making sure that I'm looking out for people, which doesn't look like there's anybody here right now. If I were to wager where people were, right, I'd say that there's likely people held up in this little, like most people might be held up in this little building set over here. I am anticipating that there will be people over here and here. I think at this point in time, it's naive to expect that there's going to be no one on the south side of the circle. But it's going to be just a slow move in. There could be someone in this building over here, which is why I'm just going to slowly shuffle my way forwards. If I was someone and I was sort of holding out in the circle, this would be a perfect little area to hold up. I've got an outside shooting area. I've got lots of windows. There's an AKM. Again, so we can see there's some people killing. I do really think that the majority of the action is probably happening over here. I've still got a few seconds to work with. I think the gas is starting to close in now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to run slowly towards the circle. Again, once I just hit the circle, I'm going to get in it and I'm going to stay on the edge. I'm playing the edge tactic this game, remember? And the edge tactic is just skirting the outskirts of the circle. This is where things get difficult because, again, I have not seen anybody. I have no information where anybody is. I'm assuming people are up in that research facility over there. There could be people coming the same way as me. I always have to keep an eye on where people are coming from. There is someone over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a... There we go. He got hit. He was heavily injured by the time that he came in. But again, remember, that's kind of what you need to do. Always make sure that you're skirting and looking for opportunities. Always make sure you're viewing your surroundings, because like, that was such an easy kill. Like that was one shot and he was dead. I think he must have taken so much damage before he even got here, but that was just because we were keeping our eyes open on sort of locations to look for. Right, where's the next circle going to be? I am in such a good position for this next circle. So what I'm going to do here is just, I'm going to switch to a frag grenade, because I think frag grenade's probably better in this situation. I'm going to hold this tree up. People are going to have to come towards me. The problem that I'm going to have is if everybody comes towards me. The other area that we want to be concerned about now is, like I said, that research facility where people are likely going to be. I'm going to mark it up just so I'm always keeping an eye on that area. It kind of reminds me. There's only 9 people left right now, though, so... Firing coming from over there, so I'm going to scope in. Doesn't look like I can see anybody right now. I don't want to, like, poke my head out and take a shot if I know that I can't get the kill. Also, I do have to remember that because the circle was where the old circle was where the blue circle is right now, people could just come around the back of the old circle and look to get round like I have. So I always do need to be careful of that. So I'm going to continue to keep looking. Let's have a look up there. Can't see if I think that's literally just a bush. Okay, we have to be so careful here. 7 people left. Firing coming from over there, which means there is people kind of on top of this ridge. I'm going to move up slowly. I'm going to move up very slowly. I don't want to take too many risks here. Again, this game's all very tactical, all about just assessing your surroundings, taking calculated moves. The problem is that a lot of these trees are blocking my line of sight at this point in time, so I'm not quite in the circle. I'm going to have to move a little bit further up. I know there are people over this hill or on top of this hill. They have got height advantage on me, which means I can't be, oh god, sprinting locked. I kind of accidentally sprinted locked there. That could have been disastrous. So I can't kind of rush them at the top of this hill because that can be very risky. I know there are likely going to be people in this, but there must be people in this building over there. And I got killed by an AWM. Somewhere got shot from it. But there you go. That's the risk that you take. All right, he was over there on the outside of the circle. So I wasn't looking at my surroundings enough. But I did get top 10, which is kind of what I was hoping for. So there you go. That was kind of my third game of this game. So that's, you know, not too bad getting top 10 with 2 kills. Could take more risks and get more kills, but we'll try again in the next episode. So thank you for watching, guys. I know this wasn't a Vainglory video, but nonetheless, it was quite fun for me. I really enjoyed filming it, and I kind of want to play a bit more of this. I'm going to do this as kind of like off content. So when I'm not creating like sort of high quality, high effort Vainglory content, I'll kind of just do this because I can just record a game and upload it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.